Welcome back to our channel. You've seen the heartwarming behaviour of animals and their display between each other and with humans many times, but today we'll be looking at the 10 strangest animal relationships for a change which will shock you. 10. Manny the wild boar piglet and Candy the dog. While dogs and piglets have the same body size, they usually stick to animals of their own kind when it comes to making friends. However, Manny the wild boar was found starving in a field and was eventually adopted by the Dalhouse family. To everyone's surprise, since the piglet was introduced to the family dog Candy, the two immediately became good friends. Candy helped Piglet greatly with recovery, as the two can be seen happily exploring, playing and eating together. 9. Bo the giraffe and Wilma the ostrich. Normally, you'd expect animals to form unlikely bonds because they have a small area to live in or a lack of other animals to befriend. However, Bo the giraffe and Wilma the ostrich live in a massive 65-acre enclosure called Busch Gardens in the United States, and they still choose to spend their time together. You can see them play with each other, explore the land together, and even just sit together with their long necks and stare into the wild. Their friendship is not much different from any human. 8. Bubbles the African elephant and Bella the black Labrador. Animals tend to stick to making friends of their own size, but it's not always the case. After Bubbles the elephant was brought into a safari reserve in the United States, it was introduced to Bella the Labrador, and the two of them immediately became friends. They spend a lot of their daily time together, which includes playing fetch, eating together, and even swimming. And sometimes Bella even uses Bubbles as a swimming board to stay on top of it while the elephant's body is in the water. Their friendship is surely adorable enough to melt anyone's heart. 7. Talk the dog and Shrek the owl. Birds usually stay away from mammals since they are two completely different types of animals, but such is not the case for Shrek the owl. Separated from her mother at the age of 3 days and kept close to Talk the dog, Shrek found an unlikely friendship that is a surprise to us all. The two animals spend their time together at the Ringwood Raptor and Reptile Centre, and despite the fact that Shrek is free to roam the space she's kept in, she often chooses to stick close to Talk and even snuggle with him on the couch. Talk, on the other hand, acts as if he's adopted Shrek and is very protective of her, always keeping an eye on her and following her around. It's a heartwarming friendship and not something that anyone could have predicted. Before we get to the strange animal relationship at number 6, please take a moment to like our video and subscribe to the channel for more content, as it greatly supports us into making more of these entertaining videos for you. Now, let's see what's next in line. 6. Mabel the chicken and the puppies. Just when you think it can't get any stranger, we have a chicken that thinks it's the mother of puppies. While their mother often prefers to roam the yard most of the day, Mabel the chicken stays behind and acts very protective of the puppies. While the puppies rest in a basket, the chicken tends to sit close to them and keeps both herself and the puppies warm, which is exactly how it would act with its own baby chickens. This unusual pair came to being because Mabel got into an accident with a horse and it gave her a foot injury. Fortunately, she was rescued and given a new home by the owners of the dog, and now they all live together as a happy family. 5. Tortoise and Goose. If you think that you've seen it all, you certainly haven't seen the odd friendship between this tortoise and goose. This 45-year-old female Aldabra tortoise was approached by a male Pacific Brant goose, and the two seem to have bonded as a pair. Brant geese stay with the same mate for life, and it seems that this goose has found an unusual liking towards this tortoise. The two spend most of their days together, and the goose follows the tortoise around everywhere it goes. The goose is very protective of it too, as it begins quacking at anyone who gets too close to her. 4. Shere Khan, Baloo and Leo. In the famous Jungle Book story, Shere Khan and Baloo were often enemies because of the fact that there are two different types of animals, and Shere Khan would threaten Baloo's friend Mowgli every once in a while. In real life, however, a lion called Leo, a tiger called Shere Khan, and a bear called Baloo share a story that is the complete opposite. Rescued from a drug dealer who brutally abused the three animals and even ignored the need of a surgery that Baloo needed, which was causing deformities under his skin, the three formed a heartwarming bond through their trauma. Now that they are rescued and living a good life, they're still close friends with each other and spend the entire day going around playing, eating, and exploring together. 3. Fred the Labrador and Dennis the Duckling. Dennis the Duckling lost his mother at a small age to a fox attack. Fortunately, he was found by Fred the Labrador and his owner and rescued immediately. The two quickly became friends and have been living together ever since, as Fred acts like a parent to it and acts protective of it. Meanwhile, Dennis is just as fond of the dog, as it's mostly following him around and often sitting on top of his head. An interesting thing to note is the fact that this isn't the first time Fred adopted orphaned animal, as it took care of a baby deer in the past too. 2. Milo the dog and Bonedigger the lion. When you look at an adult lion, you would expect the lion to be the protector of smaller animals around it. However, the opposite happened for Bonedigger the lion. When Bonedigger was just a lion cub, he was brought into an exotic animal park and was being treated for a rare metabolic bone disease that caused him to be crippled. As it was being cared for, Milo the dog was introduced to the lion cub as a therapy dog, and the two immediately formed a very strong bond, as Milo cared for Bonedigger as it grew up. Together since 5 long years, the two spent almost the entire day with each other. Whether it's eating, playing, roaming, resting, or even cleaning, the two do everything together and help each other out with every task. Over time, more Dachshund dogs were introduced to the lion, and they all act like friends, as if nothing is unusual about the group. 1. Anjana the Chimpanzee and Tiger Cubs. Since tigers are a rare species now that it is in the danger of becoming extinct, whenever they are being cared for in animal reserves, you would expect to see human caretakers looking after them. However, these two white tiger cubs are living completely different stories, as after they were adopted by an animal reserve in the United States, a chimpanzee called Anjana began looking after them on its own. You can see the chimpanzee play with them, spend a lot of the day giving them care and love, and even help the human caretakers feed them. It's a very unlikely pair to see, but surely reminds you of Rafiki from The Lion King. And if that wasn't enough, they even have a book about their story. That's it for our list of the 10 strangest animal relationships around the world. As we always say, nature is undoubtedly one of the most unpredictable things about our world, and it manages to surprise us no matter what. These unique animal friendships surely teach us a lesson about how we shouldn't let our differences stop us from forming bonds. If you like the video, please leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and press the bell icon if you wish to see instant updates of our future content. And while you're here, don't shy away from telling us what you want to see in our next video too.